Alright, so in the first video we took a look at how to move the cat and make it so that the cat will follow our mouse pointer. Now, the object of the game was to make the cat try to catch some other sprite, and if it can catch it, that we score a point. So let's go ahead and we want to add in that new sprite. So you can see down here it says new sprite, and there's this little troll looking guy there. We're going to go ahead and click on that, and when we click on that, we get all of these different options for the sprites that we can choose. I'm just going to go ahead and choose this ball just because it'll be it's easy to work with. You can choose anything that you want there and hit OK. Now, the first thing that you may notice is once we add that new sprite in, that over here on the side, it seems as if we've lost all of our programming that we've already done. But if we click on our sprite 1, which is our cat, we see that we have all our program, and what this shows us is that each sprite is going to be programmed individually, that each one is going to require its own program in order to run and move and do any of those things that we want to work with. So that's okay. We want to make these move differently anyways, so we're going to go ahead and start building this program for our new sprite. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start in our events panel again, and we're going to drag over this when green flag is clicked. Then we're going to go ahead and go into control, and we're going to add in a forever loop. And we want this sprite, we want this ball to move, and we want to be able to take our cat and chase it. So let's go ahead and just put in move 10 steps. So before you click on the green flag, I want you to just think, what do you think is going to happen once that happens? This is going to be in a forever loop that moves 10 steps. So think about it, go ahead and try it and see if what happens is what you thought would happen. So we click it, the ball moves, and then it kind of just gets stuck on the side. So it's moving 10 steps forward, it hits the edge, and then it gets stuck. Well, fortunately, there's this block down here that says if on edge, bounce. So let's go ahead and try that now and see what happens when we add that piece in. Now the ball hits the side, it bounces. It's hard to tell with this sprite, but it actually flips upside down and starts heading the other direction and then goes back the other way. Now obviously this would not be a very fun game if this was all that this sprite did was bounce back and forth. Be pretty easy to get. So let's see if we can add some more to this to make it a little bit more difficult. So the first thing that you might think is let's make the ball turn. And I agree, I think that would be a good way to start. So let's say turn 15 degrees. What's going to happen then is that every time it runs through here, the ball is going to turn 15 degrees. It's going to move 10 steps. If it's on the edge, it's going to bounce, and then it's going to go back up, and it's going to turn 15 degrees again. That seems like a pretty good option, so let's go ahead and try that. Although what happens then is now the ball just turns in a circle. But actually this might be a good thing, because what we see is we also have another block that we can use, which is inside of our operators, that says pick a random number from 1 to 10. We can drag that over, and you see as we put it kind of on top of that 15, it kind of has that white glow around the edge. That means that we've got it in the right place, and we can drop it on there. And now what we can do is we can actually come into this and we can say, well, instead of picking turning 15 degrees every time, pick a random number, and the computer will go in and choose a random number. And we can say something like, pick a random number between -15 to 15 degrees. This will add randomness to the game and make it so that we don't know what's going to happen. It could go pick -15 one time and turn it -15 degrees, then move 10 steps. Then as it goes back and it loops up again, maybe the next time the computer chooses 15 degrees and then moves 10 steps and it loops up again. So we don't know what's going to happen, and it brings randomness to the game. And games that are good to play, they add randomness to it. They make it so that we don't quite know what's going to happen. So let's try that and see what happens. Now we see that the ball does. It just kind of moves randomly around the board. Doesn't go in a straight line, doesn't go in a circle. it starts to go one direction, then suddenly turns and moves the opposite way. And that's really good. That's what we want to happen, is we want it to be moving around. So I'm going to just make my sprite move just a little bit faster again. I never changed it back from previous. And I can see now that as the ball moves, I can chase it. I can make it so that my cat tries to go and catch the ball. Now, we're not scoring any points yet, so on the next video, we'll take a look at how we actually begin to score points.